You get the
Yeah.
Verizon.
Yeah, fucking excellent. I was about to say, anybody have any last words before we move on?
No, I think we're done with that topic.
Okay, and Xavier, thank you for saying what I said, but better. But
You're welcome.
because I be still struggling with this shit. Anyway, congrats to the new Miss Universe winner, Zozibini Tunzi. I hope I pronounced that right. Um, she won Miss Universe, obviously, but not just only her. There have been other black women that won Miss Teen USA, Miss America, and Miss USA. So, the question I asked the panel: are we seeing a changing of the guards to when it comes to standards of beauty? Anybody want to take that?
Well, of course, it's 2019.
Yeah.
A lot of things that
Sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No. You start it first.
Like a lot of things that was considered, not a lot of things that were not considered before is being considered now. So yeah, standards of beauty definitely changing when it comes to plus size, when it comes to racial, all the hair textures, all that stuff changing up.
Um, so I agree. I think that as annoying as a lot of people find it, and they call it like PC culture and stuff like that, but like really, this is kind of not even kind of, this is a result of people pushing things that are not the norm that most people might have an issue with. Because like back in the 90s, the trend was light skinned black girls. But nowadays, there has been definitely a major push that I've seen on social media for darker skinned women to take the spotlight. And the fact that some of these women who are winning these beauty contests are very dark skinned is not by accident or not just by chance. Like it's from people actually taking the effort to like normalize that as this is beautiful as well.
Did
Mhm.
you already order? I also agree. So the thing that made me happy was not only the fact that it was a black woman, but it was an African woman. And from what like growing up in an African home, I always saw like living in America and more like westernized societies and stuff that like darker skinned women were not, considered like beautiful, as she said in her speech even. So to see her win that and actually coming from the continent was like very important to see because it could show you that Africans were not just a whole bunch of people living in villages and our hair's never done and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of beauty in Africa that like you have to acknowledge exists because we're very 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 diverse, and of that diversity and of our tribes and everything, we also have the way that we like beautify ourselves, or the way that we see beauty in women is represented through like the fabrics that we wear and the hairstyles that we wear and stuff like that. So, and also she did it like, and not to like shame anyone that wears weave and anything, but the fact that she did it with like a low cut, you know what I mean? Like that's really, really, really powerful because for the
Yeah, I
longest
was
time,
intrigued by that.
yeah, for the longest time, like everyone's pushing black women to, have long hair, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that she did that with that low cut and just rocking her natural ass hair, that's very important. And she's Miss Universe on top of that. So that's something that you are forced to acknowledge whether you like it or not. Because as of right now, if you ask me, she is like the most beautiful woman on the planet. Full bias.
Yeah, I was in the back of my head. I'm like, I hope this is not done intentionally, and I hope it's because they are the smartest, the most beautiful, the most talented, and the most well spoken, and that's why they won. Because I did find that really interesting that they were all black. I was just like, wow. In 2019, every category was won by a black person. I said that's never been done before. I said that's very interesting. But I find that if because they did because she won and she was a dark skinned woman and she had the low cut hair, it reminded me of something with like Lupita Nyong'o when she first came out, and that trailblazed a lot of positivity for Black women who are dark that look like her, and that felt like they didn't have that spokesperson out there for them. She's another example. And I feel like this is such a great thing for a lot of young women, a lot of older women, a lot of, just everyone, because it's never been done before. And I feel like the world is starting to change finally. And I'm just hoping that this is a reoccurring thing. But it was very nice to see. I was very happy to see that.
When it comes to things like this, I always refer back to the '90s because I feel like everything starts back in the '90s. And um, Cosmos and Joshi has a point. A lot of the '90s they were lighter skin or fairer skin, but I do feel like a lot of people forget there was a lot of beautiful dark skinned women in the '90s too. And the first person that comes up is like Mia Campbell from In the House before she took the drugs. And who's that? Brandy. The lady that played Maxine off of
The
Living
Living
Single,
Single.
and then
I always thought Kelly Rowland was pretty attractive too.
yeah, Kelly Rowland. And then I'm thinking of the early 2000s. You had Girlfriends. You had the woman that played Tony Childs and the one that played Maya. And even in like shows like Half and uh but that one show that Robinson Pete was on, but it didn't last that long. It was like Love Inc. or something like that. I feel like there's always beauty of dark skin, but I will say they sometimes have been looked over, like from the Halle Berrys of the world, or the Stacey Dashes, or anybody, or the woman that just got cheated on by Eddie Murphy's ex-wife, Leela Rashawn. Yeah, that's Rashawn. But I don't know, maybe because I've always been dark-skinned women. Like I've always noticed them, noticed the fair-skinned women. I'm mad for her that she did because she is definitely a beautiful woman. And as someone that
Who?
always encouraged women to try to wear their natural hair. Now you can do what you want with your hair. I've always said that, but me, I've always been pro natural hair. So like that is to me that is a big plus because a lot of little girls that love their natural hair go to school and then tell people like your natural hair is unprofessional, or is it a fad that they have to cut their hair to try to assimilate in. Now you see like a woman with her natural hair wearing it and also winning. It could encourage more women to to rock their natural hair on occasion, maybe not wear weave as much. I know that cultural assimilation is still a thing, and I understand that there are some jobs where like your natural hair doesn't fit in and you might have to wear a wig or weave or something. But now that we see more like this and more like women with their natural hair, women, maybe now like there could be more laws except in California, where your natural hair could be looked at as your hair, not a fad.
Or degenerate.
Yeah, or degenerate, or when people like they say your hair is like really thuggish, or especially dreadlocks, because dreadlocks gets a bad rep. But when dreadlocks are like done right, they look just as great as long flowing hair. But that, like I said, that's just my opinion on that.
Right. I worked a job where I was told that I couldn't have my natural hair and that I had to wear a wig. At first, I was gonna be rebellious and get like a really long blonde wig just to, fuck with them. But in the end, I ended up like wanting to keep my job, so I got like a curly black wig that kind of looked like an afro a bit, but it was like a little bit more loose, so I could still, feel like I look natural. But by the end of it, I ended up being really, really good at my job to the point where I was literally the best on in that job. So I took off my wig one day because it was really hot and I was really frustrated. And they told me to put it back on or they're gonna send me home. And I was like, all right, well then do it then. and they didn't send me home. They let me keep working, but I'm just like, it's not even fair that I should have had to go through that in the first place. And I think that nowadays people are probably going to be more lenient on that because of this whole movement of people going natural. Even like when I used to work at a school for like 5 years, and when I went to school, uh, little girls wore their hair naturally. It's because, that was being a kid. But then once you got to like maybe fifth or sixth grade, you kind of had to wear really long flowing braids or weave. And it's like the braids were almost because like having short natural hair made you look like a boy, or it made you look like too immature or just ugly, which is what a lot of people would say. And nowadays, I'm seeing girls in fifth or sixth grade that are wearing their hair naturally, and it's just like, wow, like, and nobody has anything bad to say. Like, in fact, people are like, oh, that's cute. So it's cool that, girls aren't getting picked on for, little black girls aren't getting picked on for wearing their natural hair. And, yeah, it's awesome. I think there's, again, people making the effort to normalize something that should not have been ridiculed, in the first place. Or at least, not just completely ignored, like darker skinned women being beautiful. The fact that, like, obviously that's like a mentality that exists from the past, like from like slavery times and everything. And it's good that culturally people are making a push to evolve from that.
That's like that's like a thing almost everywhere though. Asia amongst Asians and Asia,